Try again.
A penis. A penis.
Yes.
A penis.
Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am your football host, Brandon. That's right. Bruce Smith answered penis on Family Feud Perna. I will show you that full Bruce Smith clip today because it's even better with context. Washington officially dropped the name Redskins and will decide on a new name soon. Now, I've already made a video with my suggestions and most of them aren't even trademarked, which is a big issue Washington now faces. I thought the headlines that read, "The Washington Redskins will retire their name and logo" were cute, because it sounds like they're sending the name off with a gold watch and a pension, which is more than this country actually ever gave real Native Americans. Now, there's some NFL news to sort through today, not just Bruce Smith saying penis on television. The Deandre Baker and Quinton Dunbar robbery story keeps getting weirder. The NFL and NFLPA are very close on agreeing on terms to play COVID ball. They just have to work out the two most important issues, safety and money. So, not close at all. Whew. That's good sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I do football news updates here every week. I do have big dick Patreon shoutouts for new patrons. Minnesota Blues. Brandon, there can only be one Broussard. Blue Ridge Mountain Plumbing upping to $122, this time to help pay for Will's parking ticket. Daniel Brandt, future Vikings legend Aaron Rodgers. Dawn, if you can say Las Vegas Raiders, you can say a trans person's new name, Atlas. Ben Smith upping to 5. Kalapawe Market serving the Windward Oahu community since 1932, and we have a massive crush on Brandon Perna. Oh, if I get back to Hawaii, I am going to that market. Patrick Mahomes is my daddy. Well, my daddy loans me money, so good for me. Keith Anderson, Lord of Bunnies upping to 30. Daniel, I will shit in every toilet in Virginia to personally keep Blue Ridge Mountain Plumbing busy, -H. Seth Stern upping to $21. Scott Reeser, and at Your Honest Sports News, Brandon, check your DMs on Insta. I know your secret and will reveal what the masses cannot know. You better not reveal that. But if you want to support this channel, you can do it at patreon.com/ThatsGoodSports. Thank you guys for your donations. I think for all $5 and above patrons, we will do another Zoom call this month as your exclusive video, a free-for-all Zoom. Everybody will be in at once, no waiting. I think that's what we're gonna do. Deshaun Watson has released a book called Pass It On. Very similar to the title of my first book, which will be Pass On It. It's mostly an angry diatribe directed at every network, website, and person who, when presented with the option to produce my show, said, "Nah, I'll pass on it." Now, Watson's inspirational book is retailing for about $22, and the first chapter is titled, "Never Forget Where You Came From," which is why every year on my birthday, my mom makes me look at her vagina. Glad to see I was raised the same way as a superstar quarterback. Bruce Smith appeared on the NFL Hall of Famers edition of Family Feud, and in the final, or fast money round if you will, responded just like a true blue Buffalo Bill might to this bizarre question asked by Steve Harvey.
All right, Bruce, let's go. If Captain Hook was moonlighting as a handyman, he might replace his hook with what tool?
A hammer.
Try again.
A penis.
Tell me the age a kid is too old to sleep with a what he say?
If that were the case, the movie Hook becomes much, much darker. You know how I know Bruce Smith has a large penis? Because his brain went from hammer to penis in an instant.
A hammer.
Try again.
A penis.
Buffalo all the way this time!
I have never looked at a hammer and then thought of my penis. Needle nose pliers, sure, but never the almighty hammer. Bruce Smith thinks of his penis as a tool, which for a guy who spent his life getting sacks, I guess makes some sense. I have arrived at two conclusions though. One, Bruce Smith, like Ben Roethlisberger, is addicted to porn. Only a guy who watches a lot of old school porn thinks the handyman will be using his dick on the job. Hey miss, someone call about having their pipes cleaned out? Two, Bruce Smith has used his penis to fix stuff at his house. That's the scenario that I hope is true. Hey honey, the gutters are sagging, so I'll be outside with a ladder, a level, and my penis fixing them. Okay, Bruce, when you're done, come stir the stew I'm making for dinner with your penis. Okay, dear, maybe tonight I'll get out the hook and we can make some love. Then again, maybe Bruce Smith was just thinking about Buffalo Bills football games.
A penis. A penis. A penis. A penis.
After the NFL
Penis.
immediately rejected the NFL's ask of players taking a 35% pay cut in order to make a season happen, the NFL offered a new money proposal to mitigate profit losses for 2020, which includes a flat salary cap of $198.2 million for 2021 and spreading out any revenue loss this year over all caps between 2022 and 2030, and that all fully guaranteed money will be paid out even if games get canceled this year, which they will. Basically, if you're a player who is hoping to get paid big next year, you're probably going to be asked to take less than what you and your agent expected, as the cap will not continue to rise if the NFL takes the losses it thinks it's going to take. Also, the players not named Patrick Mahomes, who are hoping to get a long-term deal worked out now, before this Wednesday, the deadline, are also probably going to have to wait, which includes Broncos safety Justin Simmons. One team who might be in the biggest cap trouble without a cap raise in 2021 is the Philadelphia Eagles, who according to Spot Track are $63 million over the cap for 2021. The other two teams who will be in trouble are the Saints and Falcons at $47 and $19 million over the cap. No big deal, just all of Tom Brady's competition.
Penis.
Another reason he definitely signed with the Bucs. If Drew Brees retires after this season, that will help the Saints significantly. Not on the field, of course, where they will be left to choose between Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, but you get the point. NFL officials announced that they will wear masks on the field while calling games this season. The referee said, "Anything we can do to further conceal our identity while making terrible calls is something we unanimously support. If possible, we would like to also wear ski masks when playing in New Orleans." Speaking of ski masks, Deandre Baker and Quinton Dunbar and their lawyers may be in deep shit. Legally speaking, deep shit, after a search warrant revealed they tried to pay off witnesses when the two were accused of robbing people at gunpoint at a party back in May. 4 of the victims from the robbery have given sworn statements that they were paid off at the attorney's office to recant their initial sworn statements against Dunbar and Baker, and that they were paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $55,000 combined to do it. According to the Daily News, there's also Instagram DM evidence of Dominic Johnson, one of the witnesses who basically arranged the payoffs, communicating with Deandre Baker about the payoffs. There's also elevator footage of the witnesses being shown a bag of, get this, fucking money in the elevators at the lawyers' offices. Dominic Johnson was also bragging about his involvement with friends through DMs on Instagram. Essentially, Dunbar and Baker appear to be fucked because the only people dumber than them in this situation are the witnesses and their lawyers, who handled this situation like a terrible episode of Law and Order, where they got a couple pro athletes to guest star on the show and had to quickly write a bad script around that scenario. All of this started because of a high-stakes Madden tournament being played at, I believe, Dominic Johnson's house. Apparently someone got angry and refused to pay up after losing, or maybe Baker got mad when his opponent kept swapping him out for a better defender, I don't know. What I do know is if Chris Carter was still allowed to speak at the rookie symposiums, maybe none of this would have ever happened.
then I need to know who's gonna be the fall guy, who's gonna be driving, because y'all not gonna all do the right stuff now, all right? So I got to teach y'all how to get around all this stuff too. If you gonna have a crew, one of them fools got to know he going to jail.
A penis.
In this case, a fall guy could have saved not just the football players, but their attorneys, who have now been replaced on the case, and one who has officially been implicated in bribing witnesses. Talk about a lose-lose-lose scenario. Witnesses screwed, defendants screwed, attorneys screwed. Last week, running back Raheem Mostert requested a trade or a raise out of San Francisco. I'd recommend he fire his agent for asking for this at the worst possible time. Talk about not knowing how to read a room. I think Mostert is a great running back, and his NFL story makes him the kind of guy you root for and hope gets paid. He was an undrafted free agent signed by the Eagles back in 2015. He bounced around teams and practice squads for 4 years before finally landing in San Francisco in 2016. And it wasn't until Kyle Shanahan's arrival in 2017 that he ever got more than one carry in a season. The Shanahan offense is primarily responsible for his breakout season last year, where he rushed for 8 touchdowns and scored 2 receiving tutties. For him to want to leave that scenario seems like bad business. I understand why Mostert wants to be paid closer to the $4.5 million per season like teammate Tevin Coleman, who has made more money than Mostert but failed to outperform him on the field. With Matt Breida gone and in Miami, Mostert's agent might think that they have leverage. I don't think they do. Shanahan's are running back whisperers, and Jerick McKinnon is still on that roster and could be healthy for the first time in 2 years. And if anyone remembers weeks 2 and 3 last season, Jeff Wilson scored 4 touchdowns on 18 carries. Mostert is very good, but in that scheme, he is also very replaceable. And finally, Washington is ditching the nickname Redskins for a more appropriate one. Team owner Dan Snyder's refusal for years to budge on the issue is going to come back to haunt him, just like the Ghosts, who are probably already trademarked by Martin McCauley. Who the hell is that? Well, he's a trademark squatter, a man who buys the rights to names and hopes that this exact situation happens. He owns the trademark, so if Dan Snyder wants the name, he will have to pay to get it. According to Pro Football Talk, McCauley, who I secretly hope is Macaulay Culkin, has attempted to trademark all of these names: Americans, Bravehearts, Federals, Forces, Founders, Gladiators, Monuments, Natives, Pandas, Pigskins, Red-tailed Hawks, Renegades, Sharks, Veterans, Tribe, Red Tails, and Red Wolves. The best part is that, per reports, 2 of the names Dan Snyder really likes are on that list and tied up in the trademark. Knowing Dan Snyder will have to overpay for the new name makes me very, very happy. He once stated he would never change the name, and he told USA Today Sports to put never in caps, which the Washington Never Say Never in caps would actually be a pretty cool name. Now, Red Tails, Generals, Red Wolves, Presidents, and Warriors seem to be the odds-on favorites, the betting odds favorites. I'm not sure Warriors, Presidents, or Generals are real options based on the process of elimination. They are not on Macaulay's trademark list, so I'm guessing Dan Snyder isn't interested simply because he can have them. Maybe get Bruce Smith involved in the creative sessions and become the Washington Captain Hooked Penises. Depending on the trademark disputes, we could have a new name reveal for Washington this week. It will definitely happen before the season starts, which should be sometime between September of 2020 and September of 2021.
A penis.
Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, @BrandonPerna. If you want to talk social media shit to me there. And let me know what you think the new name for Washington will be.